5-step to AI-proof your creative business. So I had a chance to have a conversation long form with Arne, which is a former VFX artist that moved from VFX to directing. He's basically making a full documentary for a German TV channel. And I thought I would pick up the best part of this interview because after re-listening to it, I realized that there were really key gems that you can take out of this and apply to your business. I can say right away, this is not an AI panic video. It's more quite the opposite. Another point, we all think as a creative that AI just going to take over. But I think there is also other thing to keep in mind in order to be happy at work, especially in a creative industry. And those keys are also here for you to love what you're doing and not being, slave of the client, for example. So buckle up. We're going through the 5 ingredients of what it takes to have a profitable creative business in the age of AI. So the first ingredient that Arne is highlighting here is not to be another commodity, meaning another freelancer or something. It's more about providing the full package of what your client needs. I'm sure in your field there is something you can add to complete the package of your services. Think of renovating a house. You don't want someone that comes just for the floor, someone just for the ceiling. Of course, you want specialists for each part, but ideally you have someone that can handle that for you. In creative field, I think it's also the case.
This communication chain goes in one head. So you have like the comfort of talking to one person, but he's representing all these experts.
Yes.
Because he's a generalist. And that's actually what I want to sell there. What I'm representing is being a full-blown film studio, actually.
Yes.
That's
exactly.
what I want to provide.
And as Arne, I think you can, for example, as a photographer, you're making pictures. So why not asking your client about visual storytelling and what you need picture for? Basically, you can propose something on top of it. And that's what AI cannot do. It cannot basically propose or make contextual decision. So compare the task versus what the client wants as an outcome and see what you can put in. That's the advantage of having one-hand decision. All in one person, one contact, super easy. You make it work and boom. Second key. The client always wanted cheaper, faster, and the best quality possible. So instead of leveraging one of those characteristics, what you can do, according to Arne, is really finding the best tool for the job and basically picking the right one each time.
Somebody has an image in his mind, or at least an idea, and I listen to them, and I already see the image in front of my eyes, and I say, you know what would be really cool if we would combine those two things together. Therefore, there is every tool I can get my hands on is worthy, because for me is definitely about cinematography, and I really like doing the cinematography and everything, but to achieve a great cinematography, I take whatever works best at that point.
So what I get out of this is really thinking of the result first and then the tool, and having a set of tools available for you to use. So what I get from Arne is really look at your project and see which way is the fastest way for the better quality. It's not always AI, for sure. The third key, I think it's related directly to the previous one, is you want to be curious about all the new tools out there, and you need to dive in and just go with it and try it. And same as Arne, I'm trying every tool I can just to see what I can benefit out of it, whether it's for coaching or editing or doing those videos. So it's really a question of mindset. Some people don't want to try new software, but I think they're shooting themselves in the foot to an extent, because at the end of the day, I think learning new tool is the best way for you to stay competitive with yourself, because it's not necessarily against others, but for the confidence that you can build for yourself, knowing that you can try this or that. Let's see what Arne have to say about this.
I told you actually before I dived in so deep, at some point, like my machine was like 600 gigabytes, really just AI models of all kinds of stuff, like text-to-speech models, image-to-image generative AI, then image-to-video generative AI, all sorts of things. I was addicted. And this actually, like diving in so much into it, and I mean, this was also, you recommended me back then, like dive into it because you're like a fast adapter. And I did, and I really did it to full extent. Like the addiction still kicks in sometimes. I can't stop myself from learning about AI and doing it, but at least I'm more controlled right now. But what I learned, for sure, when somebody comes to me and says like, I demand you to do it in AI, I can say, no problem. It's not that I need to ask someone to do this for me. I know exactly. And I would say I'm, again, also regarding AI, even though it's not my preferred way to work with, but if you want, you're with one of the best persons to do it. I worked with AI since it came out, and I developed like all sorts of workflows which work for me, but I just prefer it, like just from a personal standpoint, I prefer it the other way. It's faster, in my opinion, for me still, but if you want to work with AI with me, we can do that as well.
Okay, so what we can learn from it is really spending some time each week to learn a new tool. Also, for a writer, for example, learn AI tools and get better at writing. I think there is also something to be reminded of. I think AI comes second in the process when you know what you want, and then you need an assistant to help you with, expanding your ideas, not the other way. So just for fun, make a list of 3 tools you try to avoid learning. I don't know, it could be, what's the name of this one? Oh yeah, Unreal. 4th element, and this one I like a lot. Basically find someone who thinks different than you, because I'm not sure, but it seems that most of the creative, they're pretty bad at researching and planning. So Arne and I, we have really beautiful wives that help us set our brain straight. Arne's wife is mathematician and musician, and she's doing research for their script. She's building up the idea, and she's not assuming anything. I think Arne will speak better about this. And my wife, she's also have an accountant brain, so she's helping a lot with keeping things simple, step by step. Weirdly enough, it helps a lot for the creativity part of it. And also, I guess her script is already optimized in a way because she's a mathematician and a musician. So I guess she's using some kind of both brain to make sure the story is not only talking to the analytical person, but also a little more about emotion, visualization, and some kind of direct feeling.
Yes, that's true. It's also coming back to what I really appreciate about her is that, as you say, like she's a mathematician, and while she studied mathematics, she also studied philosophy. But what I learned from her is what she really loves about mathematics is that in mathematics you have axioms and rules, certain rules. An axiom is the main rule of a mathematical concept.
It's like the paradigm.
Yeah, exactly.
Like how it works.
It is like the natural numbers, for example.
Okay.
It's n plus 1.
Okay, yeah.
Like one builds up to the other. That's the rule.
Got it. It defined the way it works.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And this is a rule. And in mathematics, when you have a mathematical structure, you always have rules. And those rules, you can count them. I mean, like literally count them, not that they're countable, but you really, like, it's not too many for a system. Okay. These rules define the system. So answers are always 100% clear because the system is so well designed. And she taught me that usually when there is a dispute somewhere, it's because the system is not defined well. You understand? I think there are people have in mind, like about philosophers who, like there are very structured philosophers on the one hand, but then there are people who are trying to always grab from every topic and mix things up. And then it's confusing what they're saying, but it's not confusing because they are so brains there and it's so great what they're saying, but it's confusing because they're literally confusing things. And this is where a mathematician comes in, and also like for us, it's great for doing research, for example, because it's always like 100% clear when she's researching something. Like the mathematical mind really stops her from assuming things. That's also a thing. People tend to assume.
Yeah.
And the mathematician, and that's really interesting because sometimes people are like, why don't you understand what I'm telling you? And it's because she's not assuming stuff. She's only listening to what you're saying. And when there is an information missing, she's not filling the gap herself, because mathematics taught her never fill the gaps yourself.
I see. So if you're creative, I think in terms of energy, it's good to partner with someone which is a bit more logical, or they say green. A designer could mixed up with a researcher, a writer with a data person. Sometimes a writer, they also really about researching themselves. They have those two sides in them. I'm just thinking of Dan Brown masterclass when he explained how much he dig deeper into the history and the research before writing anything. It's really fascinating. That's also something that AI cannot really replicate because the human brain make connection that AI cannot really do. You just research something and like, oh wow, we can think about that and that. And that's what makes human really interesting. They just connect things that some AI could not think of. So it's not an average thing, it's something really specific that you would connect together, which make it really special. Just a little more context about this interview with Arne. I went to his studio because I was basically having those conversations with him. It was my client. I was his coach for a session. And this was really, I think, nourishing for both of us. So if you also want to be supported and have one-on-one coaching with me, you can go on monexpansion.com/coach. My background as a creative and also being in HR, business partner for Scanline that was acquired by Netflix. So I saw the big scale, the smaller scale, and I think I can help you in any kind of case you are in. So don't hesitate to join in. I'll be happy to support you. Last ingredient, and I think this is the most obvious one, but the more important one at the same time, is AI is not human. And so you can leverage basically what makes you special compared to a machine. And that's, I think, from Arne's standpoint, it's related to the timing and to the pace and to the feeling of what you're doing. It just feel off. I think if you look at LinkedIn at the moment, you can relate on how much some posts feel off because there is no feeling next to it. It feels really just boring. That's why Arne called his VFX house garlic, because it's about the mix, the ingredient, not too much, but not too few. It's really about the human sauce, let's say. It's all about the right dosage.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And this maybe just right while talking to you, this is really what it is really about.
Yeah.
And why maybe like intrinsically I really thought of garlic, because it's really about love.
Now I get it.
Yes, but it is.
Yeah.
What is really touching, I learned, at least for myself, is when I'm cutting, like for example, a documentary, or when I'm doing the voiceover, it's really a matter of milliseconds. When is the cut? When kicks the music in? When starts the voice?
Yeah.
Which makes a difference between I'm just not amused or this is really touching.
Yeah.
This is really just like, and good cutters, good filmmakers, they have a sense of that. And AI doesn't have, and that's where I mean, you have to have feelings to understand what is touching. You can do something cool, definitely, but it's a very it's a craft. It's an art form.
It's difficult to put that into an algorithm, actually.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because it always depends.
Yeah,
sometimes it's fitting when it's just a millisecond longer, but sometimes it doesn't work. You have to go milliseconds shorter.
Yeah.
And
that would be the struggle with the architect in the Matrix movie, when he don't get it. And it was about love,
Yeah.
It's like you don't get it. It's like I cannot put that into an equation.
Yeah.
Because it's so random.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. That's a great example, actually. Yeah.
So as an editor, you could study why some cut make you cry and other don't. As a writer, you can relate to the fact that words carry some energy. And that's my personal belief, is that whatever you say, the way you say it, the body language and all that, the nonverbal, that provide a lot of information and energy from one human to another that AI cannot understand. So that's basically something you can leverage and be super refined about it. Arne was talking about the fact that some recipe can make you feel about a memory that you had, like in Ratatouille. You have that also, which is really great. So all those things that make you special, cultivate them, because they are way more valuable than before now that we have AI. It's the specificity of something you bring on a table which is valuable. Now it's AI fluff everywhere, but if you bring something special on the table, we're like, oh, hey, look at this. We have something worth checking in. So yeah, your taste and timing cannot be really replicated. So that's the 5 ingredients you need to thrive in the age of AI as a creative business. So pick one that feels right and try it this week. I'm sure you're going to get result out of it. Don't just survive, build the creative business you want. Making this video was important for me because it's really the core of what I believe, is that getting back to our own voice, what we feel, what we really trust in us, is more important than all the external signal you get out there. And I make that mistake with the marketing for myself. I was relying too much on AI, and it leads me somewhere I wasn't comfortable with. So now I'm getting back to who I am, what I feel. It might not be right, might not be perfect, but at least it's my version of what it is. So it's scary. Everybody say, use AI, because if not, you're dead. But I think that's the best moment ever for you to be yourself, because everything gonna be AI, everything gonna look the same. But if you have the courage to look like you, that's now interesting. So you can watch the full interview I made with Arne in his studio when it's ready. And for me, I'm gonna start making more video like this because I really love doing it, and hope to interact with you on the platform. See you soon.